Keep going. No, just keep talking. No, I want to make a story.
And then he said to me, well, we're going to get out of the chickens. Would you like to join us at Canberra Airport at the catering? Because they realised what I was doing at the chicken shop and how I was.
You're good at it, yeah.
We used to do parties and things, chicken platters and all that sort of thing. And they said, oh, well, we're going to let the airport go. Would you like to take it over? I'll arrange to see the Westpac manager and we'll go in, we'll organise it so that you get money from the bank. And I borrowed 1.2 million or something like that.
Shit.
And
Back in the 70s, that's a shit ton of money, yeah.
We turned over $5 million a year. In those days, that was big money.
Well, you were taking a big punt too. 1.2 million in the 70s was big dollars.
That was after I'd been with them at the airport for so many years, and then TAA, you was a baby, and TAA and Ansett and Qantas, anyone that came into Canberra on a plane got fed, going in or going out.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a lot of other planes, Associated Airlines, and there was China Air, and there was Shah of Iran, there was all these, the Queen.
There was TAA and all that, all them days, yep, all those days, TAA and all that.
All them,
yep.
And we catered for all of them, Pauline Cook scones.
And she did the Queen.
The pumpkin scones for the Queen. And we got a letter back. I've got the letter somewhere in all my papers. And so I kept on going, and then in 1990 something or other, I can't remember what year it was, after 18 years, probably more I think.
Yep. Handed it to Shane.
Something happened at the airport, and the place where we were doing our food from, the people that owned it wanted it back. So the airlines, I went and had a meeting with them and told them, the airlines, and then the manager of the airport itself said, there's an old house up there, you convert it into a kitchen if you like.
That's one I remember.
Anyhow, we converted this house into a fully fledged operating airline kitchen, because there had to be a lot of special things. You can't do this, you can't have a cupboard like that, and you can't,
Yep.
all these things. Anyhow, we did it, and I stayed there for I don't know how many years. Pauline stopped working after we got into the new house because she had the baby. And then I employed the staff, and I had all the staff that I originally had in the other place came up to there.
And how many staff did you have?
And
how many
14.
14,
like
yeah,
that.
righto, yeah.
Different days, different times. Now, when Tracy hit Darwin, we packed up all the food that came off every plane that hadn't been touched, and we put that, and we also I made thousands of dollars worth of food. You've got no idea these big pots that I used to cook all the bloody sauces and stuff in.
Wow.
And the chicken shops, we used to get the leftover chickens that they had, cold chickens, all off and put it in curried chicken.
Yeah, right, yep.
And we used to get prawns and put prawns in and we sent it all up on the RAAF, brought the jet over, and we put everything in bread rolls, butter, everything. Of course, I used to buy all the packs,
Yeah.
And we put that up, and we got a nice letter from them thanking us. Of course, it fed a lot of people, I tell you. And
that's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no one no one knows what we did.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more, but I'm just telling you the basics.
The basics, yeah.
Anyway, then the Salvation Army come out, someone must have told them we catered at the airport. And they came out and they said, "Oh, do you think you might be able to help us? We've got, something's happened in town and we've got to feed a lot of people."
Oh.
Anyhow, I ended up doing that. And then someone wanted a wedding doing. And I said, "Look, I don't really do weddings." But she said, "I've heard your food is really good and I'd like you to do it." Anyhow, I've done it and I kept on getting these weddings.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And do you know that house at Terrigal that I own, the
Yeah.
one your mother and I
From
own?
the wedding.
We brought it brand new. It was an exhibition home.
Yeah.
And I said to the fella, "I'll have that home." He said, "You what?" I says, "I'll have that home."
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, it's very hard to get money." I says, "Well, I don't need the money. I've got the money."
Yeah,
And
got
I
plenty of
bought the
cash.
house.
Yeah.
Didn't I?
Yeah.
Good on you.
Then I put a pool in.
Yeah, you were
And
rolling
you
in
couldn't
it.
believe I put a pool
Mate,
in.
you were rolling it in and doing
I
it the
said,
right way.
"No, I wasn't rolling, but I was rich."
You were rich, yeah.
And,
You were rolling, but you were rich.
And I put the
I
pool
wasn't
in.
rolling, but I was rich. I love it.
Then one day I was
I
talking
wasn't
to
rolling,
someone and
but I
they
was rich.
said, "This property's for sale up at Erina." I said, "How many acres is it?" And they said 5. And there's another 5 at the back, but they're not going to sell that yet. And it was a nursery, believe it or not. And it had all the tables and all the roof things over so that you can plot the plants up and all that sort of thing. Anyhow, we didn't buy that. We brought our 5 acres. And I built, what you call them, Janelle, those stables.
Yep, you built the
I
stables.
built 6 big stables. I
Yeah.
transported them from somewhere else
At the
that
back of
was
Matcham.
selling. I
At
matched
the back of Matcham.
and I brought
remember
them
where they came
up
from.
to there and put them up. And then we had a flood. Well,
Shit.
did we have a flood? Horses were floating down.
Oh,
There was
no.
only like a river this wide.
Remember
Going
when
through the
Fergal
property.
Got
Hey?
Fergal got stuck in the fence?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Because it was a fence that went across the river
Yeah,
like
wasn't
this,
that
like
funny?
it dipped down,
Yeah.
and Fergal got stuck in the current and
Oh,
got
no.
stuck in the fence.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyhow, by that time I had sort of retired and I give the business to Shane to do,
Yeah.
you know.
By the
And
time
he
you
was
moved
married
up.
to that. Well, he wasn't married to her then, was he?
No.
You wouldn't remember
Margaret.
that he was going with that Margaret, and she's thinking, oh,
Look at this. This is
Yeah.
good, yeah.
you know, like a lot of people do.
Yep.
And I mean, there's a lot in between that I can't remember or I need
Yeah,
to
but
tell
that's
you.
a good
Nah, it's a
But,
bloody, it's an awesome story. Hey, you know, one thing Danielle was telling me when we drove up north, when we were just on the far side of Newcastle, wasn't it? And you were saying you were in that orphanage there.
Yeah.
And she showed me, she said, there's the orphanage Dad was in when he was a kid.
Yeah, I was put into that orphanage. My mother and father separated, and the aunties took my other 2 sisters and brother, and we were put into. What's the name of that place?
Like it's up
At
Maitland.
Maitland, yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
It's out from there. It's near that Lochinvar. Lochinvar.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I was scared stiff. I was only a little kid. And they used to have big round tables. I used to hide under the tables because they were nuns and all. They were cranky buggers.
Yeah.
But I didn't know then because I was too little.
Too little.
Yeah.
How'd you end up in an orphanage, bud? What happened to your parents and that?
Hey?
What happened to your parents?
They
You ended-
split up.
They split up, and
for
you were,
some reason.
and this was in the like 40s, 40s,
Yeah, it's for 50s.
50s. Yeah, right in the 50s.
Yeah,
And they
40s,
split up, so you
50s,
ended
I
up in a
can't
freaking
remember.
orphanage.
I've got it written down
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
And then I just sort of thought in 1991, I told everyone, I said, I'm not doing the catering anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were so upset, and the airlines flew their bloody big chief up and wanted to know why. And I told them, I said, I'm just so tired. I used to go to work at 4 in the morning and didn't finish until 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, big, yeah.
Because there'd be a flight come from Italy, and
Yep.
it had to land at Canberra. Well, it had to have all
Had to have all the
quarantine
stuff.
washed
So you
up.
always felt the pressure, eh? You had to,
All quarantine, and then the food they had to have. People stood there while you cooked it.
yeah, yeah.
all that sort of shit.
You felt a lot of pressure.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
we got over that, and then I sort of got out of the chicken shops, and I said I'm retiring.
Yeah.
So after I finished with the airport, the fella from Tasmania came up and took over. I didn't get much for anything because it was my business,
Yep.
but it was catered for the airlines, if you understand what I
Yep.
mean.
Yep.
So the airlines still needed someone to cater for them. Anyhow, I said to them, well, I'll tell you what I do. I'll do a deal with you. You give me so much for the premises because I got it ready.
Yep.
And I said, oh, and I want you to keep these 5 staff.
Mm.
The other ones were casual and it didn't matter.
It didn't matter, yeah.
And they kept the 5 staff.
Yeah.
I don't know how long after that because Jan,
That was Matthew's mum.
yeah, Matthew's mum. And Matthew was
Sonia's
partner or husband, I don't know.
Her son was.
Did they get married?
Yeah, they did get married. Yeah, they got married.
Anyway,
Oh, maybe they
and
didn't.
there's a lot of story in between that I haven't told you. But anyhow, and then I just retired.
But not bad for a guy that come from an orphanage as a kid, end up running a huge business that you know was
It was a huge business.
Yeah, which end up a multi-millionaire and a self-made millionaire, not a thief. You weren't a crook.
And we had the most beautifulest home, didn't we, Danielle?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In Canberra, right on top of a hill.
Yeah.
Oh, Danielle always says what a good dad you are. She always says, mate. You know, she had horses and everything she wanted.
Gorgeous home.
Yeah. No, you got a lot to be proud of. You know, when it's a good story.
Yeah.
It's a very good story. And like I said, when you think about it,
well, when I
he come from a
retired,
bloke in an orphanage as
I
a
went
young
and
boy
had a look.
to a multi-millionaire
Yeah,
from his
exactly.
own business and without ripping
I
people
went and
off.
had a look at that property, that what do you call it, Willoughby Park, and I said to the fella, I said, "Don't worry about selling it. I'll have it."
Yeah.
Didn't I?
Yeah.
And your mother was so excited,
Yeah.
and it was a really nice place. That
It
you've
was.
got
It was
pictures
beautiful.
somewhere there,
Yeah.
but and a big place.
Yeah, it was huge.
The house was massive
Yeah.
and high ceilings right up. Oh,
Yeah.
twice as
cathedral.
high as that.
Mm.
All through the house with all
Wood
imported
beams.
wood,
Yep.
but little thin beams all through redwood something or other,
Yeah.
and all the walls were brick
Yeah.
Yep.
Double brick house.
Yeah.
with what's the name brick, weren't they? Special
Yeah.
indoor bricks,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
And
nice.
the
Had two
outdoor bricks were a
fireplaces.
different colour than the ones that were inside.
Yeah.
Different bricks. And
Had
we
two
had a
living
big,
areas.
the size of this house right through to the other side and back was one room.
Mm. Mm.
And we
Outstanding.
had a big fire
Oh,
as big as
exactly.
that in the middle.
This whole house would have been one lounge, like one
One
lounge
room.
room.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, you got a lot to be proud of, Sid. You got a lot to be proud
And
of.
there was
Anyhow,
another
you've heard
living
the
area,
story.
huge kitchen.
It's a good story, that.
And my wife's died and I'm still here.
And you'll be here for another 10 years to give us the shits. But you're as deaf as a frickin' post, aren't you, mate?
I'd like to live to be 100, but
You'll probably make
who
100.
knows?
Yeah, well.
But I'm not going into no nursing
Mate, we're in the
home.
day of Vladimir Putin, mate, when none of us are going to make 100. Don't worry, we'll knock you off before you make a nursing home.
bloody nursing homes.
No, we'll knock you off before
I've got
then.
to go and get a drink now.
Yeah,
First.
I'll get you a JD apple, mate. You'll be right. No, I got that on video too. And there you go, 14 minutes. That's a great life story. There's Sid, the great man, Sydney Veness. He's gone from
Don't you put that on there?
no, I won't Facebook it, but he's gone from
Don't you put that on?
he's gone from a bloody orphanage child to a bloody multimillionaire
that's
to
a
a
silent, and after that I'll have to drink
to a bloke who loves heavy metal. Hey, he loves my music, don't you, Sid? On you, mate.
Hey, and the bottom part of that story is it's a true story.
Oh, dead right it
It's a
is.
true story. It is.
Beautiful. What day we got? 7th of February 2022, I think it is.
Yeah.
Is it 7th?
The 8th.
Ah, 7th of March, not
the
February.
8th of March.
8th of March 2022, and that was Sydney Veness. Awesome.